Hey guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. This is your host Thomas Tyree from On the Hot Podcast. Today, this will be the Combat Series episode 37 for you guys today. Of course, this episode is going to be coming out on all four of our platforms: our Instagram account, our Facebook account, our YouTube account, and our Apple Podcast account. So let's go ahead and dive into the first segment of the Combat Series this week. I'll be sharing my fight summary on the fight that took place last night in the UFC between Alexander Volkanovski and Ilia Topuria. So Ilia Topuria became the new featherweight champion in the main event at UFC 298 by defeating former featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski. Ilia Topuria went on to win the main event at UFC 298 and become the new featherweight champion in the division, knocking out Alexander Volkanovski in the second round of the UFC 298 main event. So now we have seen a new chapter has officially been written in the featherweight division, and a star has truly been born in Ilia Topuria. And personally, Ilia Topuria made me eat my own words, because I did not believe that Ilia Topuria was ready to defeat an elite caliber fighter, pound for pound, one of the best in UFC today, in Alexander Volkanovski, in a championship fight. But in order to be the man, you got to beat the man. And that's exactly what Ilia Topuria did last night in the main event of UFC 298 against Alexander Volkanovski. He let his hands truly fly in that fight against Alexander Volkanovski. His striking ability was just too much for Alexander Volkanovski to handle, which led to Ilia Topuria landing the knockout victory in the second round against Alexander Volkanovski in the main event of UFC 298. See, it's just so crazy because things can happen so fast at a blink of an eye in combat sports. I mean, Alexander Volkanovski was busy in the first round. He was landing leg kicks and strong shots to Ilia Topuria, and he won the first round, but could not handle Ilia Topuria's striking abilities, and that's what led Alexander Volkanovski to lose this fight, making a mistake, and Ilia Topuria cashed in the opportunity when the opportunity presented itself, landing the clean knockout victory against Alexander Volkanovski, leaving a lot of MMA fans in the MMA community, the UFC community, shocked that Alexander Volkanovski lost the title the way he did last night. But Ilia Topuria, a star has been born. The man has it all. I mean, he has a striking ability. He has the trash talking. He knows how to sell a fight, and we saw that in the fight build up this past week in the UFC. Ilia Topuria, I think we have a new star in the UFC, but a new chapter is, like I just said a few moments ago, a new chapter is written in the featherweight division, because Ilia Topuria is now the fifth fighter in UFC history to become an undisputed featherweight champion in the UFC. He joins an elite list of caliber fighters that have been an undisputed featherweight champion in the UFC. Joins elite guys like Conor McGregor, Alexander Volkanovski, Max Holloway, and Jose Aldo as the fifth undisputed featherweight champion in the UFC today. But Ilia Topuria has now improved his MMA record to 15-0, and he's now 7-0 in the UFC. He will truly hold on to that featherweight title for as long as he wants, because, like I said, in order to beat the man, you got to beat the man. And he did that last night. And I really feel like we could be on the verge of seeing a special title reign from Ilia Topuria in the featherweight division. So with that being said, does Alexander Volkanovski deserve a rematch for the featherweight title? Absolutely. I do believe that Alexander Volkanovski does deserve a rematch for the featherweight championship against Ilia Topuria. And he has been a company man for the UFC for years. Alexander Volkanovski has taken on the fights that Dana White and company has wanted him to have. He has done the dirty work, moving up, trying to be a two-division world champion, fighting Islam Makhachev on short notice, on a short 2-week notice, the second time they fought in 2023. So the man has done everything correctly for the UFC. He was one of, if not the greatest featherweight champion of all time, holding that featherweight championship for 4 years. I do think he does need to take time off, though. And I do believe we should see this rematch sometime down the line in 2024. But I think it's best for Alexander Volkanovski to rest up, take some time off. He's coming off of 2 back-to-back knockout losses. So I do believe that Ilia Topuria should give Alexander Volkanovski the rematch, because it doesn't really make sense for Ilia Topuria to say in the press conference following his victory that I will not give Alexander Volkanovski the rematch, and I want this to be a new era, a new generation taking over in the featherweight division. But yet you call out Conor McGregor for a future fight down the line in the UFC. That just doesn't make any sense. I do believe that Alexander Volkanovski does deserve a rematch some point in 2024 with Ilia Topuria. But those are my thoughts on the UFC 298 main event between Alexander Volkanovski and Ilia Topuria.